Hey everybody. I assume if you came to this video, it's because you're trying to find a way to keep your Audi from burning more and more oil. And Audi itself may have quoted you a price of $20,000 or more to rebuild your engine. With what I'm going to talk about here, I think that I can take your car from burning a quart of oil every 300 miles, like mine was, to maybe burning one every 2, 3, 4,000 miles. First things first, I'm not a professional mechanic, so any of my dumb advice you follow, you do so at your own risk.
Get over there!
After trying out multiple things over a few months, this was the silver bullet that worked for me. It's Berryman's Chem Dip carburetor parts cleaner. You can find other videos on the internet of people putting engine parts into this and it coming out squeaky clean. Basically, you're just going to take it, flood each cylinder with it, let it sit for 3 hours, drain it, vacuum it out, do that twice for each cylinder. Then you're going to run Techron through your engine and do a couple oil changes, and you should be good to go. I know some of you, like me, have probably been watching videos and reading forums for weeks, if not months, trying to figure out some kind of fix for this, which is why I tried to give the bare basic steps in around a minute. If this saves you money or helps you make a lot of money as a mechanic as you perform this procedure for people, then it'd be great if you could throw me a tip.
Sorry, Pete. They got this depression on. How I got to do for me and mine?
Here's some more detailed steps for those that may haven't heard of this procedure before for decarbing an engine. But some of the things to note is that you probably want to get the pistons at top dead center before you fill them. You can do this by cranking the engine. This will just prevent you from having to use so much chem dip in each cylinder. It's recommended that you do not let the chem dip sit in a cylinder for longer than 4 hours because it will etch the cylinder walls. Also, be very careful with the chem dip because it's highly corrosive and will pretty much mess up your paint job or any plastic parts on the exterior of your car. Now, it can be a little tricky to vacuum out the remaining chem dip and the carbon that's been kind of like dissolved, but I just took a tube and duct taped it to the skinny attachment on my shop vac so I could get down into the plug holes fully into the cylinder to suck that out. When you crank the engine to evacuate the cylinders of any remaining chem dip, make sure you cover it with a rag and weight it down with something heavy so that you do not spray that all over your garage or work area. I recommend using an endoscope camera for this procedure, like this one that can work with your smartphone. It has a forward-facing and side view camera, so you can see both the top of the pistons and the side walls of the cylinder. Here's just a few of the before shots of different cylinders, both looking down onto the piston head and looking across it to the side walls. Here's some crude video simply showing the basic steps. So first you're going to remove your spark plugs. Then you're going to take about a cup to a cup and a half of chem dip and pour it in the cylinder at top dead center. Wait about 3 hours. Then you're going to drain it from your oil pan. But anything left in the cylinder itself, you're going to need to vacuum out. You're going to repeat this for a total of 6 hours for each cylinder. Hopefully your cylinders and piston heads start to look something like this. Now you could use some spray carb cleaner with a really long nozzle to get down in here and spray, vacuum, and remove that remaining residue. But at this point, I really advise just to go ahead and put the engine back together, put fresh oil in it with a new oil filter, run the engine for 10 or 15 minutes. And you're going to burn off a lot of white smoke. Then in a full tank of gas, put Techron in it, run that for about a week. This is also going to help clean some really dirty valves that you more than likely have. Change the oil after that week again, and then use Techron going forward every other tank of gas or every month or so to keep it clean as possible. And you should see a significant improvement in the oil consumption right off. And over time, it should increase even more. Now, my unprofessional opinion is that following the class action lawsuits for the piston rings up through the 2015 models, while Audi redesigned the piston rings, they didn't exactly get it right. Canva changed their audio recording capabilities, so I got to use this. But basically, you use a bad oil or you miss a oil change or two, then it's going to precipitate the problem, and you're going to have a snowball effect of more and more carbon building up around the piston ring staying open, letting more oil into the cylinder, burning, and it just spirals downward. Again, here are ways that you can give me a tip or a donation, help put my kids through college. Greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, if this has been a help to anybody in a desperate situation, then I'm glad to have done that.